Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Coffee Run live for Tuesday, the 12th of February. Super excited to chat with you guys today. We're coming to you a little bit later. I had a training to deliver this morning and I've been doing some other busy stuff this morning. So really excited to chat with you. I thought that I would step you through today something that I found personally really helpful and has kind of become a little bit apparent to me again in the last couple of days, actually. Hey Georgina, happy Tuesday. So there's this whole thing, and I can't remember if it was Brené Brown that talked about this quite a few years ago, I think it was, but I'm not 100% sure. And it was about the fear of foreboding joy. Hey Jess. And it's this theory or this thinking, and you guys have probably had this happen to you, where things are going really great, yet we expect perhaps somewhere along the way that the other shoe is going to drop. We kind of think, oh yeah, I've had a really great month, but what if I can't back it up? Yet I've had all of these clients come through and that's freaking amazing, but what if I can't repeat that again? You know, I had a really great year last year with clients and sales, but what if I can't pull it off? You know, we've kind of got this little jibber jabber monkey mind that likes to upset the apple cart, if you like. You know, maybe you've experienced, I don't know if you have, I know I have, where things can be going really beautifully, particularly with my kids, particularly my 17-year-old, where things are just going beautifully and it's like, oh, well, you know, I wonder when something is going to come up and we're going to have to deal with another issue. So I think that it's, number one, it's really paramount that you are aware of this, and we are conditioned to kind of expect the worst case scenario through media, print media, television media, through books, through movies. You know, Hollywood is the biggest protagonist really in this way of thinking. If you think about the kinds of the way that they build movies, there's got to be some kind of tension and drama. Like, it's like everything's going really lovely and then bam, there's a villain or something negative happens that the heroes have to overcome, right, in order to keep us engaged and captivated with the storyline. So we can kind of become quite addicted to the anticipation of, like, oh my God, what's going to happen next? Oh my gosh, who's going to die? Oh golly, you know, what's going to happen? And that's how they build up that suspense. So if you think about it in your normal everyday life, in your business and everything else like that, if things are going really well, it's kind of almost natural, because that's the way we've been conditioned to think, well, crap, you know, when is this all going to fall over? I remember back in 2013 where things were going really well for me. I'd made a lot of money in a reasonably short amount of time. And I remember actually having a conversation with one of my mentors at the time saying, I feel like I've almost built a house of cards, because if I stop picking up the phone and making sales, then everything is just going to fall over. What if my ads stop working? What if my marketing stops working? What if people stop buying? You know, it's this, for some reason we get so uncomfortable with feeling good for an extended period of time, or celebrating the good stuff for an extended period of time, because we kind of think that something bad is going to come in and knock us over sideways. Which kind of leads me to what happened with me this morning. So I've had a really amazing week so far. I mean, I know it's only Tuesday. I've organised a television shoot tomorrow for a segment that's big here in Australia for startup business owners. So I'm going in as the digital social media expert, filming in Melbourne tomorrow, and I'm just beyond excited. Talking to the producer yesterday, and you know, it was really cool, really, really great. My book's just going really well. I've got new programs that we're making sales into. I've got clients getting great results. I've got new clients in the States. I've got new people here. It's just, you know, things are really kind of flowing. And this morning I've woken up with a freaking migraine. and almost overwhelming anxiety, right? It's just like, things have been going so well. So if something is not going to come physically out of left field, what we tend to do as very well, bloody smart human beings trying to keep us safe, hey, Catherine, we can manufacture things to stop us feeling too happy, to stop us feeling too aligned, to stop us feeling too much joy and things like that, and anxiety and stress and all of that can be a really big part. It was for me, but the thing that happened this morning is like, I know what's going on. I'm nervous about tomorrow. It's going to be the first time I've been on physical television, you know what I mean, talking about my stuff versus social media or, in my own events and things like that. So it feels like it's quite a big deal. Even though I know my stuff inside out, I'm really confident in everything that I'm talking about, and I know all of that, but it's like instead of just being super excited and everything about it, my limbic brain is kicked in and is just like, let's just, take the wind out of those sails for a little bit, Nicola. So this happened this morning, and then the anxiety and about my hair and, la 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 la. So what I wanted to highlight for you today is not just about all of this stuff. My hair's this long. My hair's really long, Nicole. So it is absolutely trying to keep me safe. You are right. And your anxiety is trying to keep you safe because it's used. Yes, it's extensions. They're extensions. What happens is this foreboding joy is like, well, it's impossible to keep that level of alignment. It's impossible to keep that level of joy. It's impossible to keep your vibration that high. This can be some of the stuff that's running unconsciously, and it's trying to bring us back down without an external thud bringing us back down. So, that's at the end of the day, that's kind of the way that I see it, that it happens. So I identified 3 steps this morning in order to, number one, what I use and what I draw upon whenever I'm feeling like this. And this happens, I do this without fail. So the first step is making sure that you've got a really great support crew around you. It could be, I would suggest not your family members. I would suggest that it's a mentor or a very, very well trusted friend who gets it. And when I say get it, I don't mean someone who's just like a pat on the back, she'll be right, you're amazing, rah, 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 but rather someone who says, what, I get it, how can I help you? And sometimes it's not about, most of the time, I know for me, it's not about that other person trying to fix it for me. It's just about being able to, more often than not, talk it out. Because for me, it's in the talking that, you kind of work out what the heck is going on. So having a support crew around you, ideally it's a mentor or a coach that you can talk to. It's like, oh my God, this is what's going on. Just need you to be aware, and then they can help you with different prompts and things, or a friend who you trust. The second thing is having a really robust set of tools that you can draw upon. So this morning, the first thing that I did was I got up and went for a walk. So I did the normal morning routine despite feeling like crap. Went out, did that, came home, and I was overheating. It was really, really interesting. I did a lot of clearing yesterday as well, so I think it's also the burning off of the old energy and rising of new frequencies and stuff like that. But I've come home, and usually I would work out straight away following our walk. And this morning I'm just like, I actually can't. My head's too sore. I'm just not going to do it. So instead I did a lot of energy work, probably for maybe double, triple the amount of time that I would normally do that, just to give you a bit of an idea. So did that, and then I brought out my journal, my beautiful journal that houses all of the things. So I was journaling, which is where I broke it down into these 3 steps. It's like, okay, well, you know, what needs to be said? What do I need to do? And things like that. So the different tools that you can draw upon, there's physical tools, energetic tools, and mental tools, right? So use all of them. If you are in the position to be able to work out and burn off some of that energy, particularly if it's kind of like anxious energy, then that can be a really great idea. Do some energy work, use your journal, work it through, say the stuff that you need to say. And the 3rd step, which is quite possibly should have been the 1st step actually, is having the ability to self-manage. So the more self-aware you can become, then you know what's going on, what's triggered it, so that you can then quickly go back up to, you know, step 1, step 2, and work through those different things. But you've got to be self-aware enough to know, okay, so this is what's going on. For me, the next thing, once I work through those 3 steps, I'm just like, oh my God, I actually wrote out, what did I say? So for me, it's like having some really great wins this week and, you know, oh gosh, you know, what if I can't back it up and then blah, 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 blah. So here's what I did through all of this. In my journal, I've gone, you know what? I'm just so done with this, with anxiety. I'm done with pressure. I am done with fear. I'm done with tired. I am done with self-doubt. I am done with anything less than excellent. I am done with tension. I am done with headaches. I am done with expectation. So I kind of cleared out the crap first, and it's like, well, you know what? I don't remember pre-2000 and probably pre-2010 having any type of anxiety, so to speak, or being consciously aware of anxiety in my body or in my life. I didn't even have that when I was living that I know of. It wasn't a physical kind of feeling when I was in that DV relationship. It was just really, you know, it was just kind of, it was what it was. Probably in a heightened state of anxiety all the time, which is why it just felt really kind of normal. So where I'm going with that though, is that if you've been dealing with or struggling with anything in your world or in your life, when are you going to decide that enough's enough? And I think this is really the key point today is, when's enough enough? What does the anxiety give you? What does that feeling of not feeling good enough give you? What does that feeling of pressure give you? Because there is a payoff. There is a benefit. It might not be a great benefit, but there is a benefit to you of all of that. And to me, the anxiety, the benefit or the payoff for that was, oh, well, you know, maybe the message won't come out for today. Or, you know, maybe I can just stay in bed all day, which I very rarely do anyway. Very, very rarely. You know, oh, I've got a headache, I can't do X, Y, Z, you know, or maybe if I get really sick, I won't be able to fly tomorrow, you know, blah, 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 silly monkey brain bullshit. So have the awareness that actually, you know what, yes, this is what my past experience has been, but you know what, I'm fucking done with that now. And I do not need to put up with that. I do not choose to have this in my life. It is not a part of who I am, and it is not a part of how I create. It is not a part of how I want to be moving forward. And then just kind of let it go. And then the next phase of all of that is I started writing out what I am, how I want to feel as if it's already happened. So I am amazing, I am energized, I am a divine messenger, I am flow, I am great content, I am a leader, so on and so forth, right? So it's important to have those 3 steps in place first, work out what it is that's going on, and then just kind of let it go, because it's really not, for the most part, it's really not actually serving you. Kerry, hand it over to the divine powers. I suffer from anxiety all the time, and that helps a bit. Yeah, that's a great idea. One of the things that I've been doing, a mentor of mine, and I love this, and it's hilarious. There's 2 things that I've been drawing upon today in addition to the stuff I've talked about. Number 1 is I'm literally, if there's any kind of like, no, I'm like, stop it, and my hand flies up. We've talked about this, that's enough now. Like as if it's a petulant child, you know, stop it, that's enough. Another one is like, oh, how cute, anxiety's here again. Yay, you're a little cutie. Like, off you go now, as you were, go find someone else to play with, or, disperse into the universe and the goodness and, go do no harm type thing, so there was that. And there's something else that I wanted to tell you. Oh, that's right. So I've gone back to reading, you can't see that the right way around, it's The Dynamic Laws of Prosperity by Catherine Ponder. And there's some phrases in here that are really powerful. And so for me, anytime that there's any level of doubt, anxiety, ness or anything like that, it's just like, okay, I deserve and expect lavish abundance today and every day in my life and in my business. I specifically give thanks for lavish abundance that I shall receive today. And just that has been, hey Andrea, that has been any time like I do the oh hell no, or like the elbow because it ain't even worth the extension. I'll just go, oh yep, I deserve and expect lavish abundance today and every day in my life and in my business, and I specifically give thanks for lavish abundance today. So they're really the steps, the big picture steps that I work through. Now, yes, there are little micro steps within each of all of those things because, that's the nature of all the things. And that's what we're going through in the Queen Code if you're curious about that, which I'll put the link in later. But I think this whole topic around anxiety and stuff is probably not talked about enough, actually. I remember I was thinking about this morning as I was doing some energy work, and one of my ex-best friends, her husband she would tell me that her husband, there were some days where he just could not get out of bed. He'd have the covers pulled up to his eyeballs, metaphorically and literally, not being able to get out of bed. And I remember, this is going way, way back. We were friends for 12 years, and I just didn't understand that. I was like, what? Just suck it up, princess, and, get back on the horse and do what you need to do. How fucking hard is it? That was my thinking, because I'd never had the presence of mind or the experience to really appreciate. I didn't say that to him, I didn't say it to her, but in my head it's like, well, what's the big freaking deal? I don't understand. These days, I'm like, now I freaking get it. And maybe that makes me sound like a cold-hearted bitch, I don't know, but it's a bit like anything, until I think you've had a real life experience of it and you've got some kind of reference point, it's not kind of as tangible. I'm still compassionate and empathetic, but I just didn't have the reference point. So be aware that this thing that we have where things are going really well, if we don't have circumstances around us to throw us off track, quite often we'll manufacture them. So have the level of self-awareness to know, oh, am I self-sabotaging here? Am I buying into my own bullshit? Is this actually real, or is this just my emotions getting the better of me? Is it my unconscious mind trying to keep me safe? What is actually really going on? And then work through those steps that I've suggested in order to get you up and out of that. So I trust that that's helpful. And just know that there might be people in your world that go through some of this type of stuff. Make sure that they've got the support around them. Make sure that they've got some tools that they can draw upon. Make sure you let them know some different ways that they can get, that they can work through this, particularly if they don't feel, and that's part of step one, particularly if they don't feel like they're open to talking about it, right? Just do it, work it through in your journal. There was a post that I saw last night where, it might have been off the back of the Grammy speech, I think, maybe Lady Gaga's speech last night, where sometimes you just don't even feel strong enough to be able to reach out. So if you see someone struggling, you reach out and help them, because even when you're in the thick of it, and I know I've talked about DV before, for me, this is what it was like in that relationship. I've found it hard in the past when I've been struggling to reach out, to even have the energy to try and reach out. So make sure that in that first step that you're building out your support network of people around you so that they know that if you've gone quiet, they know to reach out instinctively, right? That they know that, well, you know, if I haven't heard from you for 2 weeks, I'm going to freaking pick up the phone and find out what the heck is going on. If you're a mentor, it's really important that you've got that level of awareness around you as well. So that is that for today. Any questions about anything, let me know. As you guys know, I am pretty much an open book. If there's any way that I can help, then please let me know. If you need to know more about the Queen Code, I'll put some of that in the comments. But most importantly, just remember this, that if you choose to decide that the other shoe won't drop, in fact, that there is no other shoe, that your level, your vibration can continue to go up without it crashing, that you can keep rising, that you can keep feeling joy and then more joy, and then as that becomes more normal, then you receive new amounts and new levels of joy or access to joy. If you choose that, rather than thinking, oh God, you know, it's going to roller coaster back down and things like that, because we get what we expect. So retrain your mind to expect that things are just always going to be on the improve and start programming yourself in that way. Kerry, that's so true. It's hard to reach out. It certainly can be. And I think because there's almost like this sense of shame, right? That can be associated with reaching out, particularly if you're renowned for being strong and independent and resourceful and, you know, rah, rah, rah. I will never not have mentors in my world. Never. Because I think it's really important to have someone who's not, you know, knee deep in your world, to be able to have some perspective and provide some sense of clarity, I suppose, and support and direction when you're going through stuff. You know, you can't see the forest for the trees. And sometimes those that we love, our partners, our friends, you know, our families, they are so close that they're in the forest with you. They can't really see it either. So yeah, it can be so super important to have those people around you. And this is why I think it's important as well to be able to educate the people around you that, hey, if you haven't heard from me for 2 weeks, I feel like a bit of a dick, but can you reach out to me, because I find it hard if I'm struggling to reach out. I remember when we were going through a whole bunch of stuff with my daughter that I've talked about before, and really fighting to literally keep her alive. My way of surviving was just to bunker down, go really insular, and I didn't exactly, Kerry, I didn't want to bring sadness or negativity to anyone. However, I'm not the kind of person either to go blah, 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 and vomit my negativity on everybody. Being negative is different to accessing support, though, right? They're two very different things. It would be very different if I was picking up the phone or someone's talking to me and all I'm doing is complaining and being woe is me and being in victim mode. That's that's a very distinct difference between, hey, things are really shit and I just need some normal time to, just flap my gums about nothing, about just let me verbal diarrhea of the stuff that's going on. I don't need you to fix it, but I just want you to have an awareness of what's going on. Now can we go and have wine? Which is pretty much how I got through those couple of years. Andrea, having people outside to help. Absolutely. I actually think it's a really critical and pivotal thing. One of my very best friends last week said, I mentioned this, I think, on yesterday, I reckon, maybe on Sunday, on the live that I did on Sunday. One of my very best friends shared in a group scenario what she admired about me. And one of the things that she said is, like, you just don't quit. Anybody else would have gone and gotten a job. Anybody else would have just said it was just too hard. She actually said you are the queen of reinvention. And I've kind of gone, well, you know, she's one of the people that I speak to, like literally talk to on a daily basis in one way, shape or form or another. And there are some times where it's just like, oh, but I don't need her to fix it. It's just knowing that you've got someone around you who gets it, who doesn't think you're a whinging, moaning so-and-so, but who can actually support you through. And in need, there's sometimes where she'll be like, okay, well, why don't you just go do this? And I'm like, of course, you know, how did I not remember that? So it is different, you know, feeling like you're being a victim and vomiting that on everybody versus accessing resourceful support in whichever way, shape or form is appropriate at the time. Andrea, thanks for the amazing points to look at. And shoes. Yes, but what if the other shoe is not going to drop? What if it's all just going to continue getting better and better and better every day? You know, I think that's a really good thing. The quote that I was saying to you from the Dynamic Laws of Prosperity was, if you want to write this down or when you listen to the replay, press pause and play and pause and play and pause and play. And it goes like this. I deserve and expect lavish abundance today and every day in my life and in my business. Full stop. I specifically give thanks for the lavish abundance that I shall receive today. Thank you. So if whenever you're feeling you're in a bit of a spin, if you're worried particularly about abundance, whether it's finance, energy, money, content, clients, creativity, whatever, just say, I deserve and expect lavish abundance today and every day in my life and in my business, and I specifically give thanks for the lavish abundance that I shall receive today. And just start reprogramming yourself for that ever-increasing joy. All right? Cool beans, everybody. Have a beautiful and amazing afternoon. I will speak with you all tomorrow. If you have questions about the Queen Code, you have got 2 days to get yourself into that. We start on Valentine's Day. It is quite possibly the most amazing Valentine's Day gift you could possibly ever give to yourself. I'll put the link in here later. But meanwhile, if you've got any questions about anything, let me know. Get out there, go help some people, get visible, and have a whole lot of fun doing it. I'll talk to you soon.